Two.
Buenas and half a day, everyone. This virtual hearing by the Committee on Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens is hereby called to order. Today is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, and the time now is 2:01 p.m. For the record, and in accordance with Section 8107 of Chapter 8, 5 GCA, public hearing notices were sent on Tuesday, January 26, 2021, adhering to the 5-day working notice, and second public notice on Friday, January 29th, 2021, for the 48 hours notice. In addition, the virtual public hearing was noticed on the Guam Legislature website. Joining me here this afternoon, I'd like to thank Senator Jose Pito Terlahi, Senator Tello T. Tidegui, Senator Anthony Atta, Senator Christopher Duenas, and I'd also like to recognize Senator Joe Ann Brown. Thank you to my colleagues for being here today. I'd also like to thank Senator Frank Blas Jr. for being here. Some general rules of conduct before we proceed with the discussion of items on our virtual public hearing agenda. I would like to provide some of these rules for us for all those in attendance. The conduct of this hearing shall be as follows. All must abide by the rules of conduct and quality assurance standards. Please keep your video on at all times and ensure you are in a room with little interruptions and adequate lighting, specifically to make sure the participant's face is visible at all times. When speaking, please ensure that you are unmuted and that you are speaking into your microphone. The chair will invite individuals who have signed up to testify. Individuals testifying shall first be recognized by the chair before speaking and shall state their name for record purposes. The order of questioning will begin with the panel of senators who shall complete their lines of questioning for each respective item on the agenda. There's only one item today. Each member will be allowed to pose questions to an individual testifying for a round and will provide another round if needed. Questions and testimony shall be confined to the substance or nature of the agenda. Personal inference as to the character or motive of any senator or any individual is not permitted. Any violations of this general rule of conduct will result in removal from the meeting room. We will now continue with the item on our agenda today is Bill number 26-36 COR, introduced by Jose Pito Terlahi and Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, an act to add a new section 77203.1 to Article 2, Chapter 77, Division 2, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated, relative to establishing the Civilian Volunteer Territorial Park Patrol Officer Reserve. At this time, I'd like to invite Senator Jose Pito Terlahi to deliver his opening remarks on the bill.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Before I start, I just want to thank the Director of DPR for joining us on this wonderful moment of deliberation in as far as my bill is concerned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Madam Chair. Bill number 2636 is another in the line of measures designed by the Committee on Public Safety to increase recruitment, improve morale and retention of our police public safety officers. My focus on that of the agencies under our oversight are all on trying to keep the officers we recruit and train here at home instead of losing them to our federal counterparts or to another locality. Bill 2636 would create a Park Ranger Reserve program, which would create a reserve program that would mirror those at the Guam Police Department, the Department of Correction, and conservation officers. The reserve would be required to work 42 hours per month and be paid a monthly stipend of $250 a month. After review, we have decided that both the Guam Police Department and the Department of Correction pays $500 every month for their stipend, and I would like to make that amendment on the floor to increase from $250 to $500. This reserve program allows the department to deploy its reserve officers instead of paying officers overtime, which causes strain on the operational fund balance of the departments. We have only two park patrol rangers for the whole entire island, and it is not possible for them to monitor the whole island 24 hours a day. The reserve program will allow the departments to save valuable funding and promote the qualified pool of applicants to allow the departments to maintain a full staff of officers to keep overtime costs down. With conditions of restroom, unauthorized use of facilities, and unlawful use of alcohol and illegal drugs taking place at the park during hours that where the parks are not open. With a reserve force, the condition of the park should improve as well as other factors I mentioned earlier. In short, this reserve program will go long ways in ensuring that the parks are being used for their intended purposes. Restrooms are not vandalized, and as frequently as there currently are, damaged. Alcohol, illegal drugs are not used in our parks at night, and that our island residents can enjoy the parks that the government has set aside for leisure and recreational activities. And I asked all my colleagues to support these measures and help the committee improve the state of our public safety on Guam. And I just want to thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to kind of just run down on outline actually the bill 2636. Um, Actually, I've worked with other agencies regarding reserve programs, and this is just about the last initiation of the program that I will be doing for the reservists on Guam. And actually, I hope my colleague can support me on this one.
Thank you very much, Senator Pito. I'd also like to recognize Senator Mary Camacho-Torres, who is with us today. I'd like to invite our Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Roque Alcantara, to offer his testimony on the bill.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Senators. My name is Roque Alcantara. I'm the Director of Parks and Rec. I very much support this bill because of the way things are going on right now with the parks around the island. There's a lot of vandalism going on right now. In fact, just today, I have the assessment of all the 16 restrooms that are now going to be open. But a lot of them were vandalized. They were trashed. A lot of the receptacles for the toilet tissues and the paper towels are trashed. They're on the floor, broken and damaged. A lot of graffitis inside the restrooms, and so and those are things that happen after our park rangers are out of the way of the park itself, because normally the parks are closed at 6 o'clock in the evening, and so all of these things happen after the parks are closed. Now, with the 16 restrooms that we have, it's hard to maintain our park rangers to go around and make sure that they're not damaged or vandalized. And a lot of the parks are being vandalized by a lot of the homeless people. And so I do support this bill. Like I said, I only have 2 park rangers and I have 77 parks. The park rangers right now are patrolling over 60 parks, and there's just 2 of them. So with the help of the senators here, hopefully that this bill passes through and that we can have more park rangers on board so that we can maintain all our parks, so that we can have a better place for families to go to and enjoy.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Director Alcantara. We also have here our two park rangers, Officer Pedro Lazama and Officer Joaquin Mesa. Officer Lazama, would you like to give testimony? Please unmute.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Senator. Hello to all the senators. And well, just to reiterate what our director said, we're very short. There's only 2 of us on duty. We can only spread the shift so wide and cover so much throughout the week. And as Director Alcantara has stated, within the gaps within our scheduling, you'll see the effects of that, to the damages to the park property. Majority of our scheduling is focused on the active moments throughout the day, because we have to provide safety as well to our park patrons. So, that's where we're focused, the bulk of our enforcement and our concentration. Outside of that, property second, of course, which is where we're experiencing the majority of the effects of the park's damages. Outside of that, I'd like to just refer to my counterpart, Officer Mesa, for further comment on this.
Thank you very much, Officer Lazama. Officer Mesa?
Just excuse me, the background noise. I'm at home right now. It's my day off. When I first started in 2005, there's 6 of us, 6 patrol officers there now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So there's 6 of us. We're down to 2. This is a good start. The reserve program is a good start. We need, I think, more full-time officers. The highest number we've seen is 6 officers, like I said. But during this pandemic, we created a beach and park task force. It was created by the Special Operations Division of GPD. And there was a total of 11 of us. 11 is the optimum number I think we need. But like I said, the reserve is a great start. $500. Let's get straight into the $500 instead of the $250 and then revisiting. Thank you, Senator Terlahi, and everyone that is going to support this. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you very much, Officer Mesa. I'd also like to recognize Senator James Moylan, who's joined us this afternoon. Senator Pito Terlahi, would you like to ask any questions to the panel?
I just want to direct this question to the Director of DPR, my good friend Roque Alcantara. Roque, you only have 2 regular full-fledged officers right now, right? And you used to have like 6.
That's correct. That's correct, Senator.
So you still have that lapse fund, for the 4 people that were that are out, right?
The funds for those 4 individual was not funded.
It wasn't funded, so
It wasn't funded.
allowing you to recruit more regular and parks officers. So you might want to need more funds for that, right?
Yes, you're right, Senator. Yeah, because for the past 4 years that those fundings were not given to Parks and Rec.
Okay, so Mr. Director, make sure that you acknowledge that to me on just how many people do you plan to hire and how much it would cost, so we can do something about it. And I know that the rest of the senators that are in this virtual would support the recruitment of more, because if we really look at the responsibilities of these officers, their jurisdiction extend like 3 miles out of the ocean. And there's just so many things that they need to do, like fish and wildlife. And we're trying to make some changes on direction of just like what do you call that? I think I introduced that bill already to decriminalize like hunting and decriminalize some of the enforcement things that is enforced by the Parks and Rec. So if and I've been talking to not only Fish and Wildlife but officers that we need to decriminalize some of these things like some of the I'm talking about the Fish and Wildlife, but I think they're part of the parks officers are also part of the enforcement, not necessarily Fish and Wildlife, but make sure that you acknowledge on just how much and how much recruitment do you need. So the and I had mentioned already that I will be making some amendments on this on Bill 2636 regarding the $250 to $500. So I'm going to do that on the floor, and I just want to alert the rest of the senators that will be doing that, and I hope I get all your support to move it up to 500, just so that we can have actually more people to be more responsive to the needs of Parks and Rec.
Thank you very much, Senator Terlahi. Senator Tony Atta?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a couple of questions, and perhaps maybe Director Alcantara can answer. Currently, Mr. Director, what is the training requirements for your full-time park rangers?
The training requirements is just like the requirements for a police officer. They have the training for law enforcement. So those are the requirements that they have to come up with. Just going through the law enforcement training.
So it's just like if they're training as a regular police officer, then is what you're saying?
As a regular police officer. Yes. Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah, because I noticed on the bill itself, on Section D, it says training equipment and maintenance records. The director shall devise a program whereby the Park Protection Service of the Department of Parks and Rec and the Civil Defense Office will provide the members of the Civilian Volunteer Territorial Park Patrol Officer Reserve with training in crime prevention and operational techniques. Now, don't you feel that since the reservists are going to have the same powers, responsibilities, and authorities as full-time rangers, that perhaps they should go through the same exact training as full-time rangers?
I think the reason why we have this volunteer patrol, rangers, is because a lot of them are coming from the law enforcement side that's probably been, have retired, and that they just want to be part of the enforcement here at Parks and Rec. So, but the requirement is that they have to go through the law enforcement, be certified as law enforcement individual.
So then you'll be saying then that perhaps then the bill should paraphrase the language in 66103A for the CVPR program as well. So it kind of reads like training for the Civilian Volunteer Police Reserve members shall be conducted pursuant to the provisions of the Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission in Chapter 51 of 17 GCA. Initial training requirements shall be identical to those required of Guam Police Officer Cadets. So you'll be in agreement to that, to where they would, because your park rangers do carry sidearms, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so, we just want to make sure that if they're going to have the same powers and responsibilities of a full-time ranger, then perhaps they should go through the same training that a full-time ranger goes through.
Yeah, so I agree on you, Senator. I agree that they should have a law enforcement background.
Oh, okay, great. Then that way we can work with the sponsor of the bill and the committee chair to perhaps insert this language somewhere, before we put onto the floor on a markup or on the floor, one of the two. But thank you, Director Alcantara, and I hope that we'll be able to get these folks in place to augment your two full-time employee, full-time park rangers. I know they need the help, and it's a struggling venture. So I look forward to seeing this bill on the floor. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you, Senator Pito.
And I want to thank you, Senator Ada, for bringing that up, because, I'm thinking if we need to certify all these reservists as part of the post certification. So if that is required, then Senator Ada I'll work on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I look forward to working with you on the bill too.
Thank you very much. Senator Chris Dueñas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you also to Director Alcantara and Officer Lezama and Officer Mesa. Director, I'm not sure if you've been able to look through your programs, over the years. I know that when I was at Department of Youth Affairs, we availed of the volunteerism from AmeriCorps. This is one of the actual law enforcement track and part of university and GCC track as well, where you could probably create a pool of individuals that would really complement this organization. So have you looked into that, the possibilities of bringing in AmeriCorps volunteers? Like I said, many of them became youth service workers because they did their volunteerism first, and it's a great pathway to a stipend position such as this. I just wanted to see if you've been able to take a look at that program. Director Alcantara?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, Senator, no, I haven't looked into the AmeriCorps. Right. I would definitely look into that and see if I can get some volunteers. Definitely, any volunteers that for law enforcement is really needed. So I'll look into it, sir.
So yeah, Senator Pito, Department of Agriculture also, along with Youth Affairs, have a history of working with the AmeriCorps volunteers, and that they really, especially a lot of them are on track already in their college careers at UOG or even GCC, that they're tracking Balea and other programs. So we look forward to working with the director as well, that could be one of his pool of volunteers that naturally rotate in these type of stipend programs while they're going to school and training, other than just the retirees that you mentioned, directors. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I know you're a new kid on the block, so I just wanted to check with you and maybe give you steer you in some directions as well. But I do support your bill, Senator Pito, and we can work together in the committee on it. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Dueñas.
Chris, I started out with the decriminalization because I feel that maybe we can just do some modification in as far as because once the reservists come on board, they're going to have that authority to make an arrest. So rather than doing that arrest and taking that responsible person for processing, that would at least have like 3 hours to spend for at least one arrest. So if we can decriminalize, those offenses that are being committed at the Parks and Rec, maybe we can just take that money, the fine money that is going to be imposed on those responsibles, and maybe we can use it and give it to Parks and Rec to support their programs in as far as buying equipments and things like that. And this is why I brought up the thing on decriminalization. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Senator Terlahi. Senator Tela Taitagui, any questions?
Sujus Masi, and thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity. It's so good to see you, Roki. You know, I'm wearing your former oversight chair's favorite shirt, just for the occasion. Yeah, she did a great job in keeping up with all the stuff that's happening over at DPR, and greatly appreciate it. And to the others who are here today, Mr. Mesa and of course Mr. Lizama, thank you for your hard work. I mean, when I heard that it used to be 6 and now you're down to 2, that's got to be really hard. And to even have a day off, Mr. Mesa, I'm glad to see at least you are rejuvenating somehow there. But you know, my question too is if this was, I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Mesa, when you said it was in 2000, when you had six individuals in your department, what year was that when there was no longer 6 people in your department?
Well, it was 6 in 2005 when I started. Then it would go to 4,
Okay.
5, 6. You know, the numbers will go up and down. They move on to marshals or teachers, other jobs.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mason. I think that seems to be some of the issues too, because the kind of training that they're required, and I do believe that Senator Ada hit it on the nose, you know, the type of work that you're doing on enforcement should have that type of training that's required for these individuals. It's pretty dangerous sometimes out there, you know, what you come up against. You know, so it's important to have that training, and because of that, you know, you do find individuals leaving Parks and Rec, going for other areas like marshals, as you mentioned. But Mr. Alcantara, since you've been there as a director these last 2 years, has it always been 2 individuals on duty only?
Yes, ma'am. There's only 2 of them when I first came in, and there's still 2.
Okay, so I'm sure that you've actually requested for more in your budget, you know. So I will hope to continue that you do request more, because it's quite a bit of a task.
I requested for 4, but it was turned down. There was no budget for those 4.
Yeah. Okay. With regards to the park patrol officers, what is the ideal then? Is 6 the ideal amount of staffing for these positions for park rangers? Is 6 a good number, or is there
I guess the reason why it was 6 because of the 3 different regions, which is, you know, north, central, and south. And so with the, you know, right now with the 60 parks that they're patrolling, then if you have 6 park rangers, then that would be around what, 10 parks per, you know, per the 2 rangers, because they have to go out in twos.
Okay. During the time that there was 6 individuals in this position, did they have enough equipment, like vehicles, equipment that are still, you know, on hand? I know it's been, well, no, actually since 2006, but then again, it was gradually going down to 2. But are there vehicles that are currently could be utilized?
I think
if you had more staff.
Yeah, I think Ken Mesa should you would answer that, because he was back during that time.
There's 6 of us with 2 vehicles. It was a pickup truck and a Ford Ranger pickup truck. So one was a marked actual emergency vehicle, and then the other one was a maintenance pickup truck. So, you know, we utilize 2 with 6 of us, but it's very rare all 6 of us are on the same shift.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. Mr. Alcantara, I know you're in support of this measure. I think it's a good idea as well. However, have you any information with regards to who has expressed interest in this reserve program? Has anybody come forward expressing interest?
I know that the two park rangers have approached me and have told me that there's about 10 individuals that are showing interest in the program. So I think there are interested individuals out there that want to be park patrol rangers.
Okay, thank you. And for the 42-hour requirement, to meet that 42-hour requirement in order to get the stipend, is that sufficient enough as far as hours? Is that standard?
Yeah, that's the standard, ma'am. That's the 42-hour standard
Okay.
across the board for
Okay.
all law enforcement.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity for the questioning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Titagui. Senator Mary Torres.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Pito, thank you very much for introducing this measure. I think one of the things that we recognize on the island is that our community really needs more access to the parks. And we saw that especially during the pandemic when families were just, yearning to have some access to activity, and the parks and the beach areas are, those areas that are free and accessible, should be accessible. I don't have any questions, and I think that the director and the two park rangers, helped to, I was interested in listening to them and what some of their challenges are, but I think if anything, this bill, not only as a practical means, has a far-ranging benefit to the community and to every single member of the community. If we can have parks that are safer, and the ability also to call for people when there are problem areas, or we need somebody to quickly respond to anything that's going on in the park. So I just want to express support, and thank you very much for your director, for your dialogue. It helped me to better understand some of your challenges and how this is a creative way to address those challenges. So Sidus Mas, everybody.
Thank you very much, Senator Torres. Senator Joanne Brown.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. A lot of the key questions I wanted to ask were asked, but out of curiosity, if I can ask the sponsor, Senator Terlahi, does he know, for example, with the Guam Police Department, how many current officers we have in reserve, or any other reserve programs we have? I know we have the law enforcement, the Department of Agriculture with their conservation officers, but do you have any idea what the volunteer members are to any of those organizations?
Senator, I do know that we do have quite a number of police reservists, but in as far as being active,
Right.
there's not that many that are very much involved in the activities of being police reservists.
Yeah, and I like very much your idea of your bill with the parks, and primarily because where our people interface with the community and vice versa. I would definitely not just the physical maintenance and protection of our parks and our resources, but just also the safety and our freedom of our residents to be able to go out and enjoy our parks more. A lot compared to when we were growing up, we all grew up in homes. Now a lot of people might be living in apartments or condominium facilities that don't allow the green open space, certainly that we would like to enjoy, and more of our people would like to enjoy. So I very much am supportive of your bill and your initiative. I did want to ask the director, Mr. Alcantara, and also if I can get feedback from Mr. Lizama and Mr. Mesa in terms of what are some of the challenges that they're encountering doing enforcement of the parks. Because I remember back in the day when they had their official SUVs, and on the side it was striped park rangers, and boy, they had a very, very visible presence at the time. And I see that has since declined. But people might think, oh, this is just they're just enforcing the parks, and maybe they don't realize some of the challenges that our park rangers are experiencing with regards to actually doing law enforcement. with some of the challenges that they're experiencing on their parks. So Madam Chair, is it okay if I can ask the director and also our two park rangers that are providing testimony this afternoon to perhaps elaborate a bit on what are some of their field experience and what are they encountering? Because, you know, the fact that they have to go through the same training pretty much or the same law enforcement as a port police officer, conservation officer, and a park ranger. But I just like to know what some of the experiences or challenges they've had on the job with trying to do their job of enforcement out in our parks and our community.
Yes, absolutely. Please proceed.
This is Roque Alcantara, the director. Senator, the things that we've been finding out there, there's a lot of trash that people are just all over the parks. They don't care about, you know, how they look, how the parks look. They just trash their trash all over. And you know, I've been asking them for a long time to, you know, put the trash in the back and we'll pick it up. But no, they just trash it. And also the restrooms that we just recently renovated, 3 of them as of today we cannot utilize because they're all demolished inside. You know, graffitis and the receptacles are gone. So that, and also a lot of the parks, you know, the rangers will find a lot of individuals that are drunk, and you know, that's one of the things that that we need to start working on, because you know, the parks are actually for us to enjoy, and so there's a lot of the parks that are like that. So and you know, the park rangers that are out there trying their best to enforce the you know, the park itself. Even up to now, like East Agania, we cannot even enforce those cars that go into the beach area, you know, because we enforced it, and then maybe after half an hour they're back there again. So those are a lot of the challenges that we are looking at as far as enforcing, you know, and they wait until we leave, and then you know, and they'll do their thing again. So I can relay this over to Pedro Lizama, one of my park ranger.
Good afternoon, Senator. Thank you for your question. So basically, like Director Alcantara explained, there's a lot of issues that we're facing out there in the parks, and a lot of challenges. As you probably are all aware, you know, we're also one of the enforcement sections out there that's ground zero for the homeless issue that's hitting the island. And so, you know, that's something that we find ourselves coming across a lot, especially within the capital, Ganya. We have a lot of homeless individuals that we have issues with in our parks. So a lot of times we find ourselves, you know, playing dual roles of both enforcer and social worker, because, you know, some of these people are not there because, you know, because they want to do criminal activity. They're out of extreme circumstances in their life, you know, and some of them are there with minor children. And so, you know, we find ourselves being that, you know, that avenue for them to get help from the government and also nonprofits and organizations like that. There's other homeless that are you know, doing criminal activity in our park. These are really hard issues to deal with, because I just put it this way: they have all the time in the day. We only have a shift, so they could wait us out in the jungles, whatnot, when we're not around. Then they come in and they do their destructive activities. You know, whether they want to access our utilities, whether they want to have a temporary shelter or a place to drink at night. You know, so they wait us out, and then this is when they do these type of activities. Then of course we have the after hours drinking that Mr. Alcantara had explained. So that's another issue that we're dealing with. The litter, the non-permitted events that are going on out there. It's really hard to keep track of this because, you know, if you look at the litter law, you'll see there that, you know, you have to kind of establish that they are going to leave the mess. So a lot of times they'll have these bag trashes and whatnot, you know, at their event. We come up to them, we get their identification and whatnot, and, you know, try to reinforce, hey, take responsibility, take your trash out of the park when you're done with your barbecue and your event. And, you know, they assure us, yeah, they'll take it, you know, and some do, others don't. And then it's hard to track whose trash it is after they leave because we're not there when they leave. And so, you know, a lot of these trash are just random items like, you know, solo cups and, you know, paper products, whatnot. You can't trace that to somebody's personal or one individual event. So that's one of the issues that we face. There's a lot of others that right now I just can't bring to mind, but can refer you to Officer Mesa and he'll probably elaborate more for you.
Yes, as the director and Officer Lezama have mentioned, the three biggest challenges: litter, drunks, and homelessness. We do, like Officer Lezama mentioned, we do social work. We reach out to like Guma, San Jose, to try to get the get the family a place to stay at, because we never want to criminalize, criminalize homelessness for, because people need to sleep, you know what I mean? And if they have no other place to go but the park, we try to work with them as far as before we actually issue a criminal trespass warning. But those are the challenges. The drunks, sometimes it's me and Officer Lezama and I that's responding to 6 or 7 drunk islanders, you know what I mean? And we got to handle that. And we got to actually stand strong, and it's challenging. It's challenging to where I look at myself and I'm like, man, I might be getting too old for this, And I'm looking at Officer Lezama, man, you gotta start taking over. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen drownings of children. You know what I mean? We've taken those reports. A lot of times people don't see what we do, but we have a spreadsheet, that shows all of our work. We're starting to document it, and we want to start issuing press releases. For example, a drowning, and then we were there, taking the report, following up at the hospital, talking to the parents. So we see these dirty things, you know what I mean? But that's why we need more people.
Madam Chair, if I could just ask one more question, because this certainly brings to light a lot of issues that our park rangers are challenged with. But I did want to ask, certainly in the case of you, Mr. Mesa, and Mr. Lezama. I mean, Mr. Mesa, you said you've been there since 2005. Did I get that right?
Yes.
So you've been there for 11 years now, right? Am I wrong? Wait, no. 16 years. I'm sorry, not 2015. Time's going too fast. Can I just ask you what makes you stay doing what you do? I mean, you could certainly go and join another branch of law enforcement and move up the ranks. What makes you do what you do?
I asked myself that too. I asked myself that too, and I think with these and we both haven't been promoted. We're way, when you look at the position description for an officer 2, for example, we're way overqualified. So I don't know, maybe it's almost like a second home. I already know the people. I'm becoming a senior in the department, But I consider going somewhere else where they're already equipped, where they already have manpower. But meetings like this, I'm like, I have some hope. And at the same time, man, I roll my eyes. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. Is it going to happen? Are we going to pick it back up? So I heard the port's paying a lot. The Port Authority.
You can have all kinds of strange qualifications, but that's another hearing.
No. I think they revisited their pay scale or something for the officers.
Yes, it was. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, very enticing. Yeah.
Officer Lizama, if I could ask you that question also, what, I mean, you look young, up and coming. What makes you stay doing what you do as a park ranger?
Well, I've been here for about 11 years, and
Okay.
I enjoy the work environment. The people here at Parks and Recs are my fellow employees here, coworkers are like family after all these years. So, some of the stuff we do out there helps them, protects them, and when they have issues, we're there for them. And then likewise, they're there for us. It's a team here and a family, from the director down to the lowest paid person here. We just see DPR when we look at one another, and we enjoy serving the community. I've seen you, ma'am, before when Agania Pool was open. You were one of our regulars, so we really do get to know the community, and we really do see a lot of the island. And so we're happy to serve the island. We just need the support. That's all.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for giving us some insight. I'm certainly going to remember this hearing and talking with you, because I mean, while everything can't be done overnight, I think just a little more resources your way can really magnify, because I'm just concerned where our community, where that interface happens with our community. I think we should have more tangible support from the government, so that our community feels a greater sense of comfort to go out and enjoy our parks and feel safe, and the additional law enforcement layer that you provide. So, I mean, thank you very much for sharing that with me and our other members here, because I think that makes us look like, how can we prioritize, even if it's a little more resources, if we could put CCTVs, for example. Maybe you can't be at all the parks, but maybe our key parks that are more populated. If that's another, using modern technology, for example, to magnify your presence, even if you're not able to physically always be there. Maybe that's, a little more dollars, and if it's properly managed, can really expand your presence. So I definitely will keep that in mind. And thank you, Madam Chair, and certainly thank you to Senator Terlahi for the introduction of his bill, because I think it's just brought up a lot of thoughts in my mind on how we can further strengthen the work that you do to serve our community. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Senator Blas?
Well, first off, thank you, Madam Chair, for having this hearing. Thank you to Senator Talai for introducing this measure. Officers Mesa and Lizama, thank you for your service. Okay, I've been there and I've done that, and I know. Okay, it takes a lot. Question: two officers covering basically 60 beats. You guys doing split shifts, or you guys work together here? How do you guys do this? Officer Mesa?
A little bit of both. Sir. The weekends we try to double up, because that's where it's most busy. But for the most part, we do we separate on weekdays, but we just mix it up. But we try to cover as much as possible. I mean, if we're doing periodic checks, ideally what we would want to do with the optimum number, which I think is 12 to 15, is have an officer stationary at each park. That way there's that constant presence. So, if he needs backup, he calls us. But, in a perfect world, we'll have that number. But yeah, we got to start somewhere. The reserve is a great start.
Okay, so with regard to communications, are you guys linked into GPD or to another?
Yes, we're linked into dispatch. We're linked in with the police dispatch.
Okay, under what channel? You have your own separate channel?
We have the Park Patrol channel. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we have our own separate.
Okay, and I apologize to the rest of my colleagues if I start acting, I think Senator Talai can relate to this. I may start talking 10 codes to these guys so we can better understand this, okay? Okay, we're talking about police reserve, or park reservists and everything, and I'm very much concerned because, first off, what's the basic requirement to be a park ranger?
You must be post certified, sir.
Pardon me? Officer
Post. You must be post certified, Senator. Yes.
Okay. So if anything, that would probably be the baseline minimum requirement that we would need for reservists, right? I mean, you don't want somebody to go out there and when you start to call, 1046, you don't want him to try to figure out what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
What is 1046?
1046.
No, I know. I'm kidding.
No, I'm talking about the other senators. The senators. Okay. So what we would like to do is basically have a reserve force that at least the minimum a post certification or a equivalent to the post certification, and obviously very familiar with Guam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you do have basically full police powers in your jurisdiction.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So and therein lies another concern, another reason why we need to make sure that if there is going to be a reserve force, that this reserve force basically has the same qualifications and recognizing the same powers that you have.
Yes.
Okay, and I think that ideally you would like the full time as opposed to the reservists, but also
Yes.
when you start to look at where the reserve programs currently exist within the police department, within the marshals and stuff like that, you would normally want to make sure that there is a full time, in this case, park ranger, that now can be, for lack of a better term, supervising your part-time or your reserve officers.
Yes.
I mean, that's the ideal situation that you want, right? Too, is making sure that.
Yes.
So this also bolsters the need to be able to ensure that there's some way that we can get you the help, on this. Officer Mesa, you said earlier that you've got basically almost like a task force relationship with SED or with
Well, at the SOD right now, it's we're probably the tail end of the beach and park task force.
Mhm.
So we're being augmented a little bit by the airport and GPD. So we have like 4 additional guys to help us out on that.
Okay.
In the beach and parks. Yeah.
Okay, so going back to Senator, the author of the bill, of course, Senator Talay, continue to work with you on bolstering this thing, because we want to make sure that in the creation, and I don't think there's going to be any consternation or any objection to wanting to help, bolster for if anything, the most important thing, for their safety. I'm sitting here listening to all of this and I'm cringing because we only have 2 officers, in this area. Thank God, thank God, with tactical command, and you may have some backup, but they can be, seconds can turn into minutes when you're looking for help, and I can see that. Okay, so Senator Lai, certainly, sir, I'll work with you on this, so we make sure that they got the resources. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Officers Mesa and Lizama. Director Alcantara, Bill, thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Senator Blas. Senator Jim Moylan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director, a couple of weeks ago, I was down at Inarahan Pool, just having my lunch there and enjoying the scenery. Needed to use the restroom. Went across the street there. There's some store. Of course, can't use the restroom there, but they said there's a guy in an orange vest walking around and he can unlock the lock for you. I couldn't find him. I drove down a little further and I found him, brought him back in my car, and I was able to use the restroom. But this guy's name, coincidentally, his name is Jim, and he told me that he works for the mayor's office. So his job is to lock the restrooms and ensure it's not vandalized. And he also does a great job picking up the trash. What program is that in Iran that they're doing for the pool? That's not part of then Parks and Rec. Is that under the jurisdiction of the mayor?
Senator, the mayor, the new elected mayor, actually adopted the park so that they can maintain the maintenance and the restroom at the park. So the new mayor is responsible for the upkeep of the Iran pool.
Okay, yeah, that's great. It does look good, and I'm glad they were able to step up, considering, yes, we only have a couple of park rangers who are doing an outstanding job, stretched so thin. And just last Sunday, I was over at East Agania. Again, I'm having my meal over there, enjoying the nice ways. It was Sunday morning and having my sandwich in the car. And you know, I did see the park rangers come by in their black and white, which is kind of clean too. So you're keeping your vehicles well up kept. So I appreciate that. And I was looking at the crowd that was there, and at least this crowd seems to be taking care of what they're supposed to do. So it was nice to see the park rangers there. And Director, I also wanted to comment, I do notice at East Agania, where the cars are getting onto the beach, right? And we have the park there. There's two sides, left and right, where you can park your vehicles, and you can walk to that seating area. It's a little bit walk, but you're coming to the park, for crying out loud. So you can take a walk. You don't have to park on the beach. But yes, I do see where they're gone and then they come back. They're gone, they're coming back. I'm wondering if there's a possibility maybe GPT can assist you with putting up those barriers, or Public Works. In the meantime, I see the sign, no loitering, I think there's no vehicles allowed there, but you also see these guys pulling in with their trailers, unloading the jet ski. The vehicles are actually entering the water because it has the four-wheel drive capability, but we know they're destroying the environment by doing that. You know, that's old school. We used to do that, but now we know something. We're trying to bring back the sand, the fish, and everything. We don't want to pollute the waters. So is there a possibility, have you been able to speak to DPW or GPD just to put those barriers there to make it more visible for them?
Yes, Senator, I do have a requisition down at GSA to put boulders at that location that you're talking about, because like you said, those trucks, they leave and then they come back when the park rangers are gone. So yes, we're going to be putting some barriers there, and then also there's going to be additional signs to indicate that they will be fined, you know, and according to GCA Chapter 16 or something like that. So that's in the works right now, Senator.
Okay, that's good to hear. I mean, those are immediate things. I'm glad to see that happening. And I do appreciate Senator Pito's bill that we can offer you some assistance as well. But you mentioned these, you know, something that was very discouraging, and that's these restrooms that were destroyed. You know, we just recently had I think it was Department of Interior funds and we're able to redo many of our bathrooms that looked quite nice. I go to Matapang Beach and Ipa Beach, and it's like, wow, these are, you know, finally we get it restored. But again, it happens over and over. Can you specifically tell me which restrooms that are in that deplorable condition now, please?
Right now, after the assessment, I finally got a PO to get the contractor out there to maintain those new renovated restrooms. And so starting today, they're on board, and so all the restrooms at the parks will be open. So actually the three parks that were just devastated was Ipan Beach Park, Dedidu Skate Park, and then Angel Santos Park. Those parks actually was ransacked, and you know, like I said, the receptacles were all damaged, and the locks were removed, doors were removed. So those are the three parks that we're going to have to just not open for a while until we repair all those deficiencies.
Okay. Yeah.
Ipaw and Matapang, they'll be open starting today. So and I know that that was a first question was when are the restrooms going to be open? So they are open now.
Yeah, and hopefully with Senator Chalahi's bill, this will be we'll be able to monitor that, at least give you some additional manpower, so our officers Lizama and Officer Mesa can have some sort of 10-7 once in a while. But really, it's helpful. You know, Senator Chalahi is like, you know, this is really helpful, and especially you know, with the budget situation. But you also mentioned that you asked for additional 4 officers in your budget proposal. And I just had a quick glance of your budget. I can see from the general fund, you're asking for close to 2 million, and from the special fund, another 1.5 million. You also have some federal funds, but small, and other things that you hopefully will be getting to. But so of those 4 officers that you requested in your budget, you mentioned that you got approved for none from the executive branch. Was there any compromise? Was there, okay, you asked for 4, we'll give you 2. All right, or at least give you 1. So you asked for 4 and you got how many?
I did not get any funding on those four.
Not even one
No,
officer as a compromise.
not even one.
Okay. Okay.
I
What
wish I
is
could
your
get at least.
right? At least come back, right? At least come back. Yeah, we can ask for the stars, but give us something, right? So what is per hour for your park ranger? And this will be, I suppose, for they are peace officers, right? Peace officer ones. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
hourly rate is our hourly rate is $11.87 an hour.
And what is-
And I sat down with my park rangers, and we did come up with the breakdown on how much it's going to cost for 2 park rangers, permanent park rangers, and just the salary itself is $63,785 for 2 permanent park rangers.
Okay. Okay, that's the salaries with benefits, then, right? As
That's
a park ranger one.
that's
Yeah, so
That's,
divide that in half,
uh,
that's like 34,000 per annum, right? And
that's
you're
correct.
saying you weren't even offered one officer. You asked for 4. You could have at least gotten 1. And 1 would, I think, would be helpful for 33,000, 34,000, as a start. But at least Senator Talahi's bill would be helpful in giving some sort of relief. But I'll also be working with Senator Talahi too for other relief too. If this is the case, if that's the budget that's going to be proposed and that's the reaction you got, I think we really need to also help you out with some public-private partnerships, and I'll be happy to work with Senator Talahi on that. So your park rangers who are doing an outstanding job with what little they have, and sharing a couple of vehicles and making sure they're at least shined up and checking the oil once in a while, because once those vehicles break down, bicycles, it's a long way to get between 60 some parks, but for sure they'll be in shape. But it's the response time, right, that we had to make sure we're there to help our public. So I appreciate the work, Director, you're doing, and thank you very much, there, Officer Lezama and Officer Mesa. So thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you again.
Thank you
sir.
very much, Senator Moylan. And I know you brought up a lot of different topics today with regards to DPR. So I think it'll be helpful for all of the colleagues for us to have some kind of informational hearing in the next several weeks to get more information on these topics. I know it's something that we're all very interested in. And I've been meeting with Director Alcantara, and he has lots of great progress to share with us. So thank you for that. I know, Senator Titlegy, you have a follow-up before Senator Terlahi closes. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the insight of putting a roundtable together, because of course, compared to what we heard today, it's definitely needed. I just have a real quick question, and thank you for allowing me to have that follow-up. Again, it's the fines that you were mentioned when you are giving out citations. The fines are, where does this money go? Has it been earmarked, Director Alcantara?
It goes to the general fund. It doesn't remain at the park. It's just like the permits that we
Okay.
have. Yeah, yeah. We don't
Okay.
maintain it here at the park.
Okay, that's something, Madam Chair, I think, in our roundtable discussion, we can talk about that. If these individuals are working so hard, like they are, I mean, I'm just amazed, Mr. Mesa and Mr. Lezama, all the work that you're doing, most especially when you mentioned, even on a social perspective, not just a park ranger, but also, helping these individuals out who are hit hard times, being that social worker. It just really hit me when you said that. So I think that might be something too, Madam Chair, to look into on the permits and the citations that they put out. This money should stay at Parks and Rec and not be commingled with the general fund. So I think that would be a good idea if we do that. And thank you, Madam Chair, again for the opportunity. And gentlemen, again, right, thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Senator Titlegy. Senator Terlahi, would you like to close on the bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The conversation that we have and the explanation of coming from the director is very invigorating, and I would say that Senator Moylan, Senator Ada, and Senator Titagui and one of my favorite senators, Senator Blas, and another favorite Senator Brown. I know that we're gonna be in tune in making sure that we support and moving forward with rectifying some of the problems that faces the park rangers. And I want to thank Roki, the director of DPR, for your insight. And now that we know full-fledged that what we really need to do to move forward and at least help out the Parks and Recreation Center. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you
Madam.
so much, Senator Terlahi. And again, thank you, Director Alcantara and Officer Lizama and Officer Mesa for your time here today. We will definitely see all of you soon. And with no further questions from my colleagues and with that closing from Senator Terlahi, the Committee on Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens hereby concludes this virtual public hearing. Written testimonies may be submitted via email at officeofsenator.shelton@guamlegislature.org or via Dropbox at the Guam Congress Building, 163 Chalan-Santa-Papa, Hagåtña, Guam, until the close of business Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. This virtual public hearing is now adjourned and the time is 3:06 p.m. Seduas Masi, everyone, and take care.
Senator
Thank you.
Mary,
Good
thank you very
afternoon.
much. Senator.